Legendary muscle, the Ford Torino Legacy. Step into the golden era of American muscle with the Ford Torino. This channel brings you the history, design, power, and performance of the iconic Torino models that ruled the streets and tracks of the 60s and 70s. From classic restorations to rare editions, every video celebrates the raw muscle, style, and sound of the legendary Ford Torino. The rise of the Ford Torino, muscle car icon. Ford Torino GT Fastback, pure American power. 1974 Torino Cobra, the true street beast. Ford Torino vs Chevy Chevelle, classic showdown. Restoring a 1969 Ford Torino, before and after. Top 10 facts about the Ford Torino you never knew. Ford Torino Cobra Jet, ultimate muscle car review. Classic Ford Torino sound test and engine roar. Ford Torino history, from track to legend. Why the Ford Torino still rules muscle car fans' hearts. Hashtag Ford Torino, hashtag muscle car, hashtag classic cars, hashtag Ford performance, hashtag Torino GT, hashtag vintage cars, hashtag car restoration, hashtag American muscle, hashtag Ford Cobra, hashtag Torino Cobra Jet, hashtag car enthusiast, hashtag auto legends, hashtag classic Ford, hashtag retro cars, #V8 power. Ford Torino, classic Ford, Torino GT, vintage muscle car, Ford performance, American muscle car, 1970 Torino, Torino Cobra Jet, classic car restoration, Ford heritage, legendary cars, retro muscle, street racing legends, Ford GT power, old school muscle, collector cars, classic automotive, Torino fastback, muscle car history, classic V8 power. Ford Torino, classic Ford Torino, 1974 Torino, Torino Cobra Jet, Ford Torino GT, Ford muscle cars, American muscle cars, vintage Ford cars, Ford Torino restoration, Ford Torino history, Torino fastback, muscle car collection, old school muscle, Ford performance cars, best classic cars, Ford Cobra Jet engine, Torino car review, classic car sound, Ford V8 power, Ford Torino specs.